Coming up on Guys Talking Sports, it's Geno time as we talk about Geno Smith, of course, with the New York Jets. We're also going to talk about NFL players, some of the NFL players. Is it really time for them to maybe consider giving up some of the things that they do outside of the NFL? Got a full panel today with Earl Ross and Adrian Catwell, and that's coming up now on Guys Talking Sports. Again. Can y'all hear me now?
Good.
This is just one of those days where the technical difficulties it's just hitting me right now. But for everybody else, this is Guys Talking Sports. I'm your host, Al Qualls. Welcome. That's all I can say right now. Welcome. My troubleshooting problems, my problems with my internet and my laptop continue from last week. But for everybody, thank you for checking us out again for another episode of Guys Talking Sports. I am Al Qualls. With me, I got both of my guest hosts with me today, so you know it's going to be wild. I got Earl Ross and Adrian Catwell. So what's going on, fellas, man? How y'all doing?
I'm good. No vino today, just water, so I'm good.
I'm sipping the cranberry with no vodka, so it should be a clairvoyant type of conversation.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. So we're just going to get started and just going to jump right into it. I mean, I got an unsweetened tea, so it tastes bad. Like, I didn't even know it was unsweetened. And when I first take, you know how you first take a sip, you thinking that there's enough sugar in it, and it's just disappointing. I'm not even going to get into that because I could just rant about about the tea. But let's just get into some sports. That's what we're here about. So we're just going to jump into it. I know everybody's been talking about it. All the sports media have been talking about it. Since I live up here in New York, that's all I've been hearing. So we're just going to talk about it as well. And we're going to talk about the New York Jets, even though I know they're playing right now in the preseason game. But the New York Jets, of course, with this whole Geno Smith thing, fellas, I'm just going to let you just take control of this while I just sit back.
Well, I guess because I'm the farthest away down in the DMV, Washington, D.C. area, let's just say that on the sports radio stations in these next of the woods, Geno is very much the topic of conversation. From clowning to you name it, they cracked on him some awful. His jaw, I've seen the pictures on the internet, I've seen a whole bunch of stuff. And we all know, and I don't shy about being a West Virginia homer. We all know that Geno is the WVU quarterback. He had great success with Geno. Geno going into the NFL has been having some difficulties, to say the least. It's kind of disappointing, though, because from all that you've heard, that he was having a pretty good preseason, or at least camp. And that doesn't mean nothing until you get to see some live action. But if all of this is about $600 and $600 in the NFL locker room, even if you are the lowest paid NFL player in the locker room, that $600 has to be no different than maybe $60 between all of us. And you, my boy, y'all my boys, I'm not going to say that if you came to me, or if I borrowed $60 from y'all, or vice versa, and we had an agreement to say, hey, you're going to have my money, and say, yeah, I got you, and then, something happens, whatever, I'm not going to co-cock you and break your jaw over $60. So, I don't know, maybe it's the ethics, maybe it's, they say Geno is smug, and Geno got a little arrogance to him, or whatever. I'm hearing reports now that he's not very well respected in the locker room. My thing is, and if that's the one thing I can't stand about sports, we got all these sources who claim X, Y, Z. If you could talk about it, be a man about it, say who you are. It could be that 53rd dude on the roster that you don't even know, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If it's a starting wide receiver, and it might have been taken out of context. We don't know, but you got all these cowards out here to say all these different things. Now, mind you, I'm not defending Geno. I don't know the situation. I can only go by what I hear. But to do what he did over $600, Geno shouldn't have put his finger in the face. I don't know. This is bananas.
Yeah, I mean, for me, from the South Jersey / Philly area, I mean, I'm hearing about all the clowning from Philadelphia Eagles' perspective, but this by far was just crazy. I mean, dang, dude, duck.
But did he even know he was about to get hit?
No, the reports are saying that he didn't. He didn't expect to get hit. The reports up here are saying that he was being smug about it. He was in his face, like pretty much saying, and I'm just paraphrasing from what the reports I'm getting. It was just like you wasn't going to do anything. You're not going to do anything about it, and that's where the punch came through. So. At least that's from what I'm hearing. I'm not saying confirming anything. That's from what I've been hearing, especially from the media today. So.
Yeah, what's the old verbiage? You let your alligator mouth get your hummingbird ass whipped. And that's exactly what happened.
You never know. Geno might get some of them South Florida boys to come up to Buffalo.
Personally, I want to know was the hit worse than when Chris Childs two-pieced Kobe Bryant years back?
I wish there was video to see whether or not how bad it was, if how the punch was thrown. But I do have to admit, it's just funny how this situation happens with the Jets. Out of all the teams, it happens with the Jets. It seems like they just got past the Rex Ryan era, where there was a lot of stuff that was going on, and it seems as though some things never change in the organization sometimes. So.
Yeah, I mean, the reports is like, $600 for, a failed appearance. There are some mitigating circumstances, but still, I mean, you've been there in camp for 2 weeks. You see, dude, you're going to ask for his money if you told him yourself that you're going to pay him the money back. But outside of that, I mean, well-respected must be the thing, because would you see a fourth rounder linebacker score up and sock Tom Brady in the grill, or Aaron Rodgers, or anybody like that of that stature?
But here's the thing. But here's the thing about that, because I understand the comparison, but you can't compare Geno Smith to the likes of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, because he hasn't even reached that level yet.
Yeah.
I mean, so he is not going to get that respect. I would love to hear, and media people have been comparing it, to those type of quarterbacks, but he's far from. He was the last. I think he was the last the last quarterback in passer rating. So, the thing is that it should be compared to people that are in his tier.
So you'd like to see if Johnny Manziel got snuffed in the locker room with somebody come defend Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, somebody like that, or maybe like Teddy Bridgewater, since he's starting the Minnesota.
But Bridgewater getting respect because the offense in Minnesota is played to his strength, and he excelled in that. In Geno's case, they never played to Geno's strength. They tried to take a dude that was a one-read type of passer and train him to coach him up to be a West Coast type passer, a QB.
No, I don't get me wrong. I do understand that. I'm just saying, the way media was trying to compare his respect level to the level of Peyton Manning and these top tier quarterbacks. I think that's a little bit too, that's what I was saying. They're quarterbacks that's not on his level, but that's in the same tier as him, where it would be much more of an accurate comparison to the top tier quarterbacks. Of course, any top tier quarterback, the people are going to respect them, regardless, because of what they've done. I just feel as though that there's other quarterbacks in the league that they could compare Geno Smith's respect to.
Well, yeah, he has to earn it, and at this point in time, he hasn't earned that level of respect yet, based on, the offense that was built around him. Which, like Adrian said, they really didn't build the offense to tailor-made to his strengths. So,
Right.
and
Right.
so then you're not getting overall respect from your teammates because you haven't won or haven't really done a whole lot. So yeah, you're going to get decked by a fourth rounder.
Yeah, but
my biggest thing is, I was on Twitter and I follow a cat by the name of Anthony Beck. Anthony Beck, yeah, I believe that's his name. He's a former tight end for the Jets back in the early 2000s. He played with Tampa Bay and a couple Arizona, I think. And he went on and gave his take on the Geno situation. And this is a dude that's from Philly. He does camps in the Philly area all the time. And he says he's gone out and paid for people's flights, and for whatever reason or for whatever circumstance, folks couldn't make it. He said, he ate the cost of the flight. Now, mind you, Anthony Beck been in the league for about 10 years. He accumulated some dough. Don't know when if he was doing these camps while he was playing, or if it's just something that he's been doing since he's retired. But he said he's been doing it for 10 years, so I know he hasn't been retired for 10 years. It possibly he could have been retired for 10 years. I don't know. But either way, no, because he's only like 35, 36. So he was probably playing. But either way, he said he bought tickets, had players that were supposed to come in, couldn't come in, and he said he ate the cost. He was like, those players didn't owe him anything. You know what I'm saying? They volunteered, but they couldn't make it. And he never took it to the extreme of to say that I need to go hounding somebody for some money. Now, the DC media out here is saying, well, Geno must be broke because why is it that he couldn't give him the $600? Now, Geno didn't sign no rich contract. I know he signed a $2 million contract or $3 million contract or something, not too extravagant. But I'm sure he had his $600. Now, the question is why he didn't pay him? I don't know.
Sound like you tried to punk him. That's what it sounded like.
Geno? It's possible. But from my understanding, Geno went to his camp last year.
I at this point, I feel as though I agree with the whole concept. I mean, I don't understand the fact that why it was. They said it was like a couple of weeks. So, like, from a business aspect, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if it was trying to be a punk move or not. But from a business, if there should have been some type of arrangement or some type of conclusion to this way before this got escalated to where it got to. I mean, like, there should have been, and not just like being as, football players and being, I don't know about the code or anything like that, but from a business aspect, or if you're trying to get the respect from your players, you gotta be like, I gotta at least talk to this dude. And from what I'm told, Geno did try to reach out to the guy, and that never came about. So I don't know. It's just so much. Like you said, the media right now. It's just so many stories out there right now. I just don't know. I don't know. But it's funny. And it's funny that when they released him, side note that he went that Rex Ryan ended up signing him in Buffalo. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the craziness right there.
Well, that was one of Rex Ryan's picks. So hey.
But here's the crazy part. They said, dude, when he was in high school, he didn't play that much. He only got recruited by one school. I think it was Louisiana Tech. He took the scholarship. I think by his senior year, he ended up being all Conference USA. But during college, he punched a cop. So it's obvious. Yes. He is hot-headed.
Yes. He does. Yes.
He struck a cop.
Yep.
So it's not like the dude is a saint. So obviously, you know, you got some dudes that can sit there and control their anger or whatever. They can suppress it. Don't necessarily want to be that type of confrontational type of dude. But in the same sense, something he must have like trigger words or something that just was like he heard something and it just automatically snapped, and he just went and dead Geno. You know, and it was unfortunate.
But they, like I said, I think like I said, and like there's so many stories about it. The stories I was getting was that Geno was in his face saying that you're not going to do anything in regards to, you know, whether I give you the money or not, you're not going to do anything because of. That's why I think a lot of people saying he was being smug because he's like, yo, I'm a first string quarterback, like, you know, you're not going to do anything to stop that. So. I think right now the point of the matter is that I think both parties is at fault with this. More so, I mean, unfortunately, the guy lost his job and actually he lost his job by punching him in the face. But even though he got signed to Buffalo, but the point I'm making is that, you know, you can't. I mean, everybody has to be handled differently, and obviously this was mishandled in all directions from both parties.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, now I guess what's going to be his new nickname, Glass Jaw or something, or?
No, oh man, you should see the memes that's out there. They put, matter of fact, they did one with Mike Tyson Punch Out. So that's when you said that kind of brought up. They put Geno's face in Glass Joe, and they're showing Little Mac knocking him out. You know how they do their doo doo doo. Yo, they did a full meme of that, yo. I thought that was hilarious. I kind of felt bad, but I couldn't stop laughing at that. You should see it on the internet. It's out there.
Oh, there's tons of crap out there, man. Tons of. But I'm looking at the score of the Jets game now. The Jets are losing 20-3.
Well, they got Bryce Petty. They got Bryce Petty in there right now. I mean, he's been in there since the first quarter. So
might as well put him in there.
Huh?
So might as well put him in there, see what he can do.
Yeah, they Ryan Fitzpatrick was in for like one series and that was it. They they're probably learning from Rex Ryan's mistake and not putting no more starting quarterbacks in for the rest of the preseason. Remember that whole thing with
when they put Marcy back up in the game. Oh, Sanchez and
Marcy Sanchez.
And hurt his shoulder, and that propelled Geno to the starting position, which Geno never should have been starting quarterback that year to begin with. But hey, you know, you can only blame Rex for that one. You know what I'm saying? But
it don't matter who's in their game right now until they fix up their offensive line. At this point, it doesn't matter. And to be honest, I think a lot of people is giving Geno a bad rap before he even started playing the game, and I'm talking about as far as his passing is concerned. Like a lot of people is already saying, like, you know, this is a good thing, and this is what I'm hearing from you know, from the fans. Like the fans are saying, like, yo, this is a good thing. It's a blessing in disguise because now Ryan Fitzpatrick, who should be starting anyway, who is a better quarterback, he'll get us, you know, up and running, and then we'll take it from there. I mean, I'm like this.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, come on.
Yeah. And, this is why I said that. I said this because I've been on Google Plus about this. I've been on Twitter responding about this. I'm like, look, this is what it boils down to. All these people that's saying that, you know, this is great because Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, is a better quarterback than Geno Smith. This is my disclaimer to y'all. If Ryan Fitzpatrick is a better quarterback than Geno Smith, why was Geno Smith the first string quarterback?
If Ryan Fitzpatrick was better than Geno Smith, if Ryan Fitzpatrick is that quarterback, why isn't he starting somewhere else in the league, period?
Exactly.
Call a spade.
No, and this was like a lot of people like this is what I don't get. Like, unless you're telling me that the Jets was making a huge mistake starting Geno Smith over Fitzpatrick. And the Jets know they've been at the practices. They understand. And it was just amazing that fans was like, no, Fitzpatrick should have been starting from the jump. he should have earned that spot if that was the case. And like you said, if he was really that good, he wouldn't be a backup quarterback. He would have been starting on a different team. So, to Jets fans, I really have to say this because y'all counting your eggs before they're hatched, and it's like y'all already written off Geno Smith because of past experiences. And if this was the middle of the season, by all means, and if he was really bad, by all means, y'all have every right because y'all seen him at work. But it's only the preseason. Like he haven't even played a series yet in a preseason game, and yet y'all already deeming that Fitzpatrick is better than Geno Smith. I think y'all need to wait until both quarterbacks is out there before y'all make a comparison like that. Don't base out of the past experience because truth be told, yeah, Fitzpatrick can probably play better in this season, but Geno Smith had to be the starter for some reason, for something. So for all Jets fans, and I don't know, I'm probably gonna get hate over this, but just take a step back before you start saying that Fitzpatrick is better or they should be starting Petty or anybody over Geno Smith. Y'all have to see the games first and analyze the games first before y'all make that comparison.
Yeah, did they see him? Yeah, did they see him back in Houston or back in Buffalo or Tennessee?
I just found that amazing that they was like, yo, Fitzpatrick he's gonna do great. I'm like, dude, y'all haven't watched any NFL games about this guy. Well, he's a better, and this is what the argument I'm getting. Like Fitzpatrick he's not good. He's like average. He's not even average. He's like a C type player, But everybody's like, well, he's still gonna be better than Smith. I'm like, but y'all haven't seen the progression, and that's why I say if he was better than Smith, he would be starting. There would have been no question. He would have been starting. Smith would have been on the bench. Obviously, they see something that we didn't see for that to happen.
They just don't like Geno Smith. That's what it is.
And to be honest, I really believe that's what the issue is. Like they look at Geno from the past couple of years with the Jets, and they figure he's a bum. They figure that they need to get rid of him. And I'm like, yo, everybody's given a chance. And to be honest, I'm not saying that I defend Geno Smith by any stretch of the imagination. My point is that this is a new season. Give that person time before you start saying, okay, this is a complete wash. He's no good. Bench him, whatever. That's the only point I'm making.
Man, look. Here's the deal. Everybody saw what Geno did his senior year at West Virginia, putting up them crazy monster stats. At one point, he threw 20 touchdowns without throwing an interception in the beginning of his senior year. All this wonderful stuff. You know what I mean? The Jets was begging to get Geno. Now, I'm no rocket scientist. Hell, I'm not even a high school football caliber coach. I could barely run plays on Madden well enough to win. But my point is, you saw the offense that he came from at West Virginia. If you watched any games, if you saw the type of offense they played, it was in the shotgun. It was a quick read, quick passing, boom, boom, boom. And eventually, if he had some time and the offensive line proved to be successful and held up the defense from rushing him, and he had time, he would throw it deep. But the offense was always quick hit, boom, boom, boom. Rex brings him in with whoever the offense coordinator was at the time, and just automatically think, oh, yeah, we can convert this dude to a West Coast system type quarterback. Man, it takes some of the great quarterbacks time to learn that. Andrew Luck is successful running the West Coast offense in Indianapolis because he played that type of an offense when he was in college at Stanford. So he came into the league, had decent receivers, had a decent O-line, and he knew, and hell, his father was an NFL quarterback. Oliver Luck played in the NFL for X amount of years. Granted, he may not have all been that great, but he was a pro quarterback. So he had somebody, the tutelage there, to show him how to play the game. How do you expect a dude to come in playing one particular offense in college. He put up prolific numbers, but didn't want to convert him to be this type of a player. Now, I'm not saying he can't read defenses. Obviously, he had a hard time reading defenses because he threw multiple interceptions all the time. Okay. But why not try to tailor some of the offense to his strengths? Why is it that Minnesota, when Bridgewater got the opportunity, they're like, look, dude, we saw what you did at Louisville. Let's try to incorporate some of the things and the reads that you had at Louisville over in Minnesota.
Well, he had a little bit better go of it because you didn't have AP for the entire season, so it was Teddy Bridgewater. That's it.
But he also had a pretty decent offensive line, and he had decent wide receivers.
Granted,
Geno never had.
Yeah.
But who did Geno have as an offensive line? When the Jets went to the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship them 2 years in a row, what was their primary offense? Ground and pound. Nobody wants to admit it, but Mark was sort of like a game manager. But he made big throws when he needed to make big throws. Okay? After them 2 years of successful runs at the end of the AFC, what did they do? They started losing their offensive linemen. And the only one that stayed behind was the Brickenshaw Ferguson, I believe, and Mangold.
Manigault, yeah.
Out of an offensive line who was dynamic them 2 years they went to the AFC Championship. They kept their center and I believe they're starting left tackle. Ever since after that line has been garbage. They had please correct me if I'm wrong. Was Curtis Martin still the running back then? No, I'm sure he wasn't.
No,
they had a decent running back when they went. I forget who the running back was at the time, but they had an above-average running back who was handling the load. They had Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes. Braylon Edwards wasn't the best receiver in the world, but they had some capable receivers. Geno comes there, the offensive line is depleted, and who was the best receiver that they had at the time? Jeremy Curley?
Well, now you know why the GM of the Jets got canned. It's the same way with Rex Ryan. All of them left.
So you set the dude up to fail, and then his rookie season he showed brilliance of a success because he led the team to some comeback victories. He was doing all right. He was still playing poorly, but he was doing okay. And he took a step back the second year because he just regressed. There's no other way to say it. Jason Morrow couldn't live up to the hype as the tight end that they picked up. I still don't know who the wide receivers were beside Curley.
Well, I get it, man. I mean, he was behind the eight ball a little bit, but I guess we're going to see. The question is, what kind of respect he's going to have when he comes back to the team?
But the beautiful thing about this is he got a broke jaw.
He can't say much.
He can't say much. But if he really wanted to play, he could. Because Anquan Bolden, I think, got his jaw broken when he got hit. And he still played like 2 weeks after he had the surgery. Now, mind you, wide receiver versus franchise quarterback, okay, apples and oranges. But right now, do the Jets even look at Geno as a franchise quarterback?
No, and even if he was hurt, he ain't going out there. You got to call play signals and audibles. You ain't doing that with a cracked jaw. Unless
they put a mic in somebody else's helmet and have them call the plays. That is true. I didn't look at it that way, but at least, he still can pass. He can still practice. He can still throw routes. He can still do whatever he wants. Now, mind you, if his teammates don't respect him, hey.
But see, that's really the problem. Really, I mean, that's really what the problem is. And like you said, I think, to be honest, maybe this will humble him to work on, to get that respect back. Because even when he got his jaw broke, none of his teammates came to defend Geno Smith at all. Like, there was actually saying it was, two kids that it was like no one didn't come to the defense and say, yo, this dude that punched him was completely wrong. You know, you can't punch. Nobody didn't even come to defend him. So I think that sells a lot. Like, nobody didn't even come to, like, you know, pull him off or anything. They, you know, it seemed like it just happened, and it just was like, oh, well, you know, they're fighting. So it was like they were just chilling, just watching it. Like, oh, well, it happened. So I think that he's going to have to earn I think hopefully this is a wake-up call, because right now it seems as though that the players don't, you know, they're like, yo, he's out, it's whatever. Like, there's like, if it happens, you know, we got other people. It's like they're just saying he's just another player, not a first-string quarterback, not the starting quarterback. He's just another, you know, player on the team. So
that's cool, you know what I'm saying? But here's my thing. If I guess a perfect ending would be Geno is out 6 to 8 weeks, however long he's out. He misses all the preseason. That's 4 weeks. So say he misses the first 3 games of the regular season. He comes back week 4. And say whatever, the Jets are like 1-3, 1-4. And he comes in and has a command of the offense, and the Jets start, then what? Then all the media pundits who were saying that this and that, and then all those sources who say he wasn't, well, excuse my language, he wasn't crap. But then they were going to say, well, you know, Geno's not that bad, you know. But I just hope that the situation humbles him, and then he could turn around and possibly have folks eat some humble pie. You know, that would be the perfect world.
I agree with that, because the fans do need it.
I know. And not that I want to talk about Geno entire night, but I didn't get a chance to segue into your boy Alden Smith last week, 49ers, ex-49ers, man. What the world?
Yeah, ex-49er, and your Giants is calling saying they might sign him. So
that's some thing. Yeah, the Mars ain't gonna put up with that. I would be highly surprised if the Mars will give him a check. But what in the world is going on with the 49ers, man?
Dude,
talking about the Jets is bad. The 49ers is a hot mess over there right about now, man.
I'd rather talk West Virginia football over the 49ers.
I was about to say, I don't think Ace want to talk about San Francisco right about now.
Oh, dude, where does one even begin?
Well, you still got your boy Superman up in there.
Yeah, but okay, Cap did well what would be his rookie season, and he did well his second season. He regressed like hell his third season. You know, they say he was hurt or whatever, but we'll see. Like, he lost a lot of talent. I mean, when you lose
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore was his 11th year, you know. I mean, you're happy that he got 10 good solid seasons out of him. It's hard to get a running back to give you 10 good years. So I could see letting Frank Gore go, you know what I mean? And not like Michael Crabtree was some sort of world beater at wide receiver that you could see, okay, he left to go somewhere else, that, you know, you're really crying about that.
And where did he go?
He went to Oakland, which I think he'll do pretty good out there. And then, of course, you pick up Torrey Smith. So, I mean, you have 2 ex-Ravens. You got Anquan Bolden and you got Torrey Smith. And I forget who they got in the slot. But granted, the wide receivers aren't bad. But then when you take a look at the offensive line, when your whole right side of your offensive line is going, Ayupati going to Arizona, and old boy from Rutgers just ends and retires.
Oh, Davis, yeah.
Yeah. So your whole right side, and those guys only been in the league 3 years. They 3 or 4 years. Those are the first 2 picks Harbaugh made when he came on as the 49ers coach in the first round. He picked up Iupati, and then he picked up Davis with his first 2 first-round picks. Solidified the whole right side of the line. Okay, so you talk about what you lost on offense, and then you turn around. How many defensive people did you lose? Starters?
Everybody. It seems like.
Half the secondary, damn near your entire linebacking core. Your D-line.
Like I said, you lost everybody.
It was like a non-recognizable, and then they forced Harbaugh out. The offensive coordinator is gone. The defensive coordinator is gone. It's a whole brand new staff. Who knows what? I will be ecstatic if the 49ers win 6 games.
Wow. Are you going on the record to say that they're not going to be a 500 team?
Not in that division. Think about it. We all know what Seattle's capable of.
Yeah.
Arizona won 10 games last year with a turnstile type quarterback situation.
Yeah, real mess. They ran out of QBs by the end of the season. That's why they faltered.
Right, but they were still winning. It just sucked that 10 wins wasn't enough to get them in the playoffs. And then you got St. Louis, which is the dark horse. They got Nick Foles at QB. They picked up, I want to say they picked up Todd Gurley in the draft to be the running back. They got a fantastic receiving core with Britt, Tavon Austin, Stedman Bailey, and that one cat, I can't think of his name. The defense was high-powered last year.
It was very good.
I don't see the 49ers at all hanging with anybody in the NFC West.
No, the NFC West is going to be, I think, it's going to be probably, I don't want to say it's going to be the toughest division in the NFC, but it's going to be right up there.
Dude, I mean, they're getting as healthy as the Arizona Cardinals, quarterback. I can't think of his name. He's coming back from his ACL surgery. He had just signed that big contract, and the next day he goes and tears his ACL.
Palmer.
Yeah. And he was always a good quarterback from way back when. So, now you got Palmer running the show. You got Nick Foles, who under Chip Kelly was a pretty good quarterback. So I guess now we'll get to see the type of offense that he's running. Is he the same type of quarterback that can, put in work under a different system other than Chip Kelly's system?
And personally, I'm glad he's out of Philadelphia from a Giants perspective, because he was actually not that bad.
So if you look at it from that perspective, if Nick Foles, who was supposedly too slow, too this, too that, to run Chip Kelly's offense, he went out and picked up Sam Bradford?
I was very happy about that.
What does that show you? Let's take a moment and discuss that for just about a couple minutes. That took Sam Bradford, who's had multiple knee issues, who's not even as mobile as Nick Foles, and he believes that with his offense, he could plug that joker in and still spit out the same type of offense that he did the past 2 seasons. What does that tell you? Either that he is cocky and arrogant as hell, and that he has a leg up on everybody else in the NFL, or he's just the dumbest dude ever to get his squad.
Either he's very, very smart, or he's very, very stupid. Only time will tell. And I mean, I didn't get that, and nobody in Philadelphia got it when they traded for Sam Bradford. I mean, I just laughed the entire week because it was just too comical. I mean, the highs and the lows in Philly when they were doing their stuff. Why would you bring in Sam Bradford with 2 bad knees?
Mm-hmm.
And then who's second? Mark Sanchez, who was not that bad, but he's not great. And then behind him, you got who? Tim Tebow?
But think about it. Think about what you just said. Mark Sanchez in that offense was not that bad.
He was not that bad.
His in the Jets organization was a laughingstock. He took Mark Sanchez and made him look like a world beater for about 3-4 weeks.
Hey, he toasted Dallas on Thanksgiving. I remember being right in that game watching that one.
Yo, I was this close to picking him up on my fantasy football team.
So what does that tell me? It tells me that Chip Kelly has an offense where, as a quarterback, I want you to just make one read, throw the ball, and It's just that's what that tells me.
Well, look what it's telling you. I mean, he was willing to, let's call spade a spade, because there's conflicting reports about what he wanted to do, but he was willing to give up a chunk of his picks and people to get Marcus Mariota, his boy from his old college days, to run his offense. And what was the offense?
And that tells me that he was willing. I guarantee he probably would have picked up every wide receiver that didn't make it from whatever team that played at Oregon to come on his staff to fill up roster spots and said, look, all I want you to do is catch the rock. We're going to imitate what we did at Oregon, and we're going to blow the socks off everybody up in this league. I think that's the mentality that he has. And everybody's saying that, everybody, the NFL defenses are going to catch up to his style of offense. I'm sorry. I have not seen one team yet slow down Chip Kelly's offense where he's averaging 30-something points a game.
I have to admit, when he did get to when he got to the Eagles, you could see the offense soar. Like you saw them putting up points and a bunch of points, and I do give him that. Offensive minded, he is. He's definitely there. But like you said, it'll be interesting to see with the new pieces he has now, whether he can maintain it. Because if he can't maintain it, and I know Earl could tell you straight out, like the fans there ain't gonna have it.
No, I mean they're taking a very wait and see approach. I mean they were mad about Nick Foles, mad about the receivers going. They're very happy about DeMarco Murray, which I'm curious to see how they're going to incorporate him into the offense, because Marco was not running behind that same offensive line he had at Dallas. He's got the Eagles, and the offensive line is not that great.
But so are you saying that Shady was the reason why the run game was the way it was, because he was this quick twitch and quick with the hips and can?
No, I think he didn't like the fact of how he carried the rock and was susceptible to fumbling at the wrong times. That offensive line, was above average. It wasn't great, but I mean, you're taking a running back that flourished behind a massive offensive line in Dallas, the best offensive line in the league at that time, and putting them behind an offensive line that's not nearly as good, and then putting more of an offensive-minded squad where, you can just hand the rock off to DeMarco, and you're going to get your touches and get your yards. He's not going to have as much yards as he did with Dallas. He's probably not even going to have as many touches. He might get more catches out the backfield, but it's going to be curious to see how he runs it.
Well, I look at it as Chip. The way I heard it was the fans look at it as that wide receiver that he drafted in either the first or the second round that came out of USC as a sleeper wide receiver. And you have to understand Chip's mindset, because Chip, being played out in the Pac-12, knows all the personnel out there. And I'm sure his boys back in Oregon is giving him a whole bunch of tips about all the top prospects, all the speedy guys that play in the Pac-12. So he got some aces up his sleeve. I firmly believe that Philly will not lose a beat with Sam Bradford, DeMarco Murray.
We'll see. We'll have to see this one.
I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying
a lot of bold picks right now.
I'm saying that offensively, I don't think they're going to miss too much of a beat with Foles, with Bradford being a quarterback over Foles.
If Bradford is actually going to be the quarterback, because right now in Philly, they saying Mark Sanchez is looking really good.
So what does that tell you?
Bradford hasn't been clear for full play. He's just been clear for just practice.
No. But what does that tell you?
Mark Sanchez is
in the right system. He's in the right system.
Hold up. Let's get this straight right now. Mark Sanchez, he's in the right system right now, okay? But any system where he is right now, any system outside of Rex Ryan's system right now is the right system. Let's just call it like you see it. Mark Sanchez was not in a great system when he was with the Jets. Now he's free to open up and be more, more of a passer. This is a different system driven for a quarterback than it was when he was with New York.
It was funny. It was funny. They're talking about up in Buffalo, they don't got no quarterback.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
What was the phrase to use? Quarterback purgatory or something like that.
I think say EJ Manuel and Matt Castle are both garbage.
And that was from the coach, right, or the GM?
Oh, dude, I don't know where I heard that from. But
I was about to say, who said that? That's what I want to know.
It was somebody from Buffalo. It was somebody from Buffalo said, I think it's either the coach or the GM. They said that they got garbage QBs. They won't be able to get one because their record won't allow them to get a top QB.
Oh.
Again, that's exactly my point. Any quarterback that goes up to, and I'm sorry, but it's just a proven fact with Rex Ryan. Any quarterback is going to have trouble. That's why I was curious to see what Geno Smith was going to be able to do this preseason and this offseason. I mean, in this season, outside of what Rex Ryan's era, because that will show me whether or not if it was really Rex Ryan or if it actually is Geno. Like you said, DeMarc Sanchez is a perfect comparison. Like everybody was like, "Yo, you need to get rid of him. You need to get rid of him when he was in New York. Yo, he's garbage. He's not a great quarterback. He's not somebody you could start. He shouldn't be starting on any team. He goes from New York to Philadelphia, and in those past 4 weeks when he got into actually start, he was the man. Like people was like, yo, this is a different Rex Ryan. Like I heard people like media was saying like how he completely 180 from he learned the system down in Philadelphia. It's not just about that. It's just that the system that was in place under Rex Ryan's, being the head coach doesn't work for quarterbacks. It never has. Or at least as far as I know, it never had.
Never picked the right offensive coordinator. If you gotta, a sign of a great coach is a coach that will sit there and adapt to the personality they have in their squad and recognize that, okay, this quarterback ain't a West Coast quarterback. And I understand that as an organization, we don't necessarily want to have a running quarterback, but we have to recognize that this is who we are. Just like when Tebow had his magical run in Denver. Now, mind you, that was some ugly football. but dude won, and they played to his strengths, and they won. But the reason why they got rid of him in Denver is because they felt as though if, as an offense, they would have to completely retool their whole offense to sit there and play to Tebow's strengths, and that they figured that defensively they would have caught up to Tebow and shut that down because he's so one-dimensional.
But not only that, they was going after Peyton. So, like, like you were saying, but if you're going after Peyton, you might as well, there's not even no comparison there.
That's true too. That's true too.
He got a bad deal out in Denver.
But you got to give props where props is due. It was ugly style of football, but when it came down to it, when it came to crunch time and it came down to Tebow making that last minute drive to win the game, he won every time. And won their first round in the playoffs too. Now, mind you, it was a quick slant and dude did the rest, but he still had to complete the pass.
And that's and that's what makes it so like amazing. Like and again, and I hate to keep going back on Rex Ryan, but when you have that situation, and then they bring him over to New York, everybody's like, oh, we're gonna be, it's gonna work the same magic he has. It's gonna transfer over here. It doesn't work that way if the system doesn't match to the person's strength. Mm-hmm. And the focus was always on defense. The focus was never on the offense. You put that perspective on the offensive coordinator, but in that reality, you pretty much had control of that whole offensive well. Like you didn't. I don't know if the whole thing was that it just didn't work under Rex Ryan. Any quarterback that was there in Rex Ryan's era with the New York Jets was bad. So, like I said, that's why I'm curious to see how this season will turn out for the New York Jets. Not so much that I'm a fan, but just how different it's going to be between, this era and the Rex Ryan era of old.
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious myself.
So, side note, just to let you know, I'm watching another score. Green Bay is leading New England 15-11. Now, from what I'm the second, I forgot the backup. Well, Green Bay just scored again, but I forgot the backup QB for New England. But he was I think he's
Garoppolo,
yeah. He's not doing bad. He's like making at least close to 50% of his passes from what I saw from the stats. So
preseason first game, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. Like, even with a second string quarterback in the mix that pretty much nobody didn't really hear of, like the system, I'm pretty sure that they're playing the system, they're adapting the system towards him.
Well, they don't know if Brady is going to be out the 4 games, so they're going to have to prepare as if Garoppolo is going to be the starting QB.
Yeah, I mean, they just they keep clicking.
Mm-hmm. That's now that's a dude. Now that's a coach. You can say what you want about Belichick, boy, but that fool, man, that's a well-oiled machine up in New England, man. He just somebody go down, like, all right, that's cool, we got this.
Next man up, man.
Right,
Next man up.
Exactly, it's bananas.
Yeah.
They don't die. Yes, they do not die. They
only when they play the New York Giants in the Super Bowl, and then outside of that, they don't die.
I saw that.
Had to throw that in there.
I was gonna say, way to throw that in there.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless, very shameless. But real quick, that whole Brady situation, that's going to take some time, and he's going to defend it to the end. So, the courts is going to handle it one way or another. So
I think they're going to reduce it to 2 games, and then I'm going to go sit in the corner somewhere.
I agree with that. Side note, the Sheldon Richardson thing. How many games do you think he's going to get added on to the 4-game suspension he already has?
He's probably going to play for the rest of the season.
I ain't think about that.
And then some.
Hold on, whoa, did I miss something? Sheldon Richardson, that's the Jets dude, right?
Yes.
Oh, because then he got caught speeding or something?
Yes, correct. Now, he already had 4-game suspension because of the marijuana.
I think they'll just tack on 2 more games and call it 6 games and be done with it.
Oh no, it's a lot in there. He had the high-speed chase.
Oh, the gun.
The cops, smell of weed, semi-auto in the car with the minor. Yeah, he's done for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, I forgot about all that. Yeah.
I was giving him. I was thinking half the games, or at least 3/4 of the season. But I never really thought about going the full season.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't get a full.
Here's the thing, though, because they're going to argue the players' union. Of course, is going to dumb it down to So that's why I'm thinking they're going to dumb it down to at least 3/4 of the season.
Yeah, they'll probably try to get it on the peel, but I think initially when the hammer comes down, once Goodell deals with the whole Brady situation, you're gonna bring the hammer on somebody for being as ticked off about the whole thing.
Well, my biggest thing is, and I guess maybe it's just me, and I've never been in that situation, never having the God-given ability to play a professional sport, but man, these jokers just look at this as I'm talented. This is who I am. Like, dude, do you not understand that you're given a wonderful opportunity that 99% of the population in this? Oh shit, we can even make it better than that. 99.5% of the population, male population in the United States and Canada and Puerto Rico and wherever, don't have the opportunity to ever have that chance, and these jokers is taken for granted and just do some of the craziest and dumbest things. Just throwing money away.
I know they're in something has to be done because this is way too many knuckleheads, on both coasts doing the most ridiculous things. So somebody gonna do something about it. They just getting out of hand.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Do you think down the road, whoever the next commissioner is going to be is going to make fines and penalties harsher than what it is because of stuff like this?
No, because you got to get stuff like that past the player association, and I don't think they're going to really, go for that. They'll probably try to put it in there. I mean, they're already, griping about how much power that, Roger Goodell has, and they kind of caved into that with the collective bargaining agreement.
Man, look, let's step into a sport we hardly ever talk about. Let's talk a small splash about hockey. And my man Patrick Kane, I believe it is, having this issue up in Buffalo because he assaulted a chick or possibly had an encounter with a woman where she didn't want it, and now she's pressing charges. This joker was just about to be able to cover EA Sports hockey video game. They pulled his joint. This joint is real, man. These jokers, I don't know if they feel invincible. I don't get it.
Hey, and it's not just males, because they still haven't done anything in regards to Hope Solo after they won after her domestic issues as well.
That was real. It wasn't quiet, but it wasn't talked about.
And that's my point. Like, no one has even talked about that yet. It's athletes in general.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you could put Brittany Griner into that whole situation too.
There you go.
But when you're talking about women abusing men versus men abusing women, man, that is a real fine line. It's real touchy. It'll never be the same level of punishment for a woman abusing a man versus a man abusing a woman. It just ain't never gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother discussion, and that's a very fine line. I totally agree.
And it's unfortunate, you know what I mean, because nobody really should be hitting nobody, But then you got some of these entitled athletes, and I'm talking about males who think they're invincible and they can do whatever, and then they're going out here doing all this stuff, and the level of camera phones, videos, all this type of crap. People record anything nowadays, you know what I mean? So you can't even, as somebody who has money and as somebody who's out there in public and is well known, you can't be walking around like the common man just doing whatever. You got to bring the party to you. You got to tell these people to leave the camera phones at the door. It's going to be under lock and key and
sign a confidentiality agreement.
And then have nothing but ladies come through like Sean McCoy. That was too funny. You shut that down real quick.
I can't hate on the man's ingenuity. Now, how he went about promoting it was crass, but hey,
I'm just sorry. I ain't mean to bring it out there, but I still find that funny. But go ahead, continue. I'm not gonna say anything else.
Oh man, look, all I'm saying is, Joker's gotta be a little bit more smart nowadays. I mean, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know what's going on. You're a target because you got money. You got a little bit of fame. You got to be smart. And these jokers is just out here, the Ray Rices of the world, thinking that you can go in and do what you do in the elevator, not even thinking that, dude, there's cameras in casinos everywhere. In hotels everywhere. You just can't just be doing whatever it is that you think you're doing and you're not going to be seen. Dude.
Hey, man. I mean, you think it's bad now. I can only imagine how it was, years back before these, smartphones. Imagine trying to cover the old Dallas Cowboys back in the early 90s.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know where that whole mindset has to start as far as how they're talking to these athletes. I guess, I don't know if you start them in high school or they start them in college, because, in high school there's only like one, two, three, a handful of kids from one team maybe going off to play D1 football or a D1 sport. And then in the locker room, there might only be a handful of another type of player to then make it professional. So then I'm thinking when they have these symposiums that they claim that they have for the rookies that come in, and even then you hear like at the NBA rookie symposiums, these jokers are smoking weed and tearing up hotel rooms. Like, what's going on?
That sounds
Is
like
it home
that. I don't know.
It's the lifestyle. It's the lifestyle that the players lead sometimes, and you have to imagine the fact that they don't get that the stuff that they're used to do before they come into the NFL. It's like kept in a limit. Like it's kept at a minimum because of like whether they're in college. If they're in college, of course they can't do certain things because they'll get sanctioned by their head coaches or the NCAA. But when they get into the NFL and then they get that money, then it starts to get, with the cars or the houses, and that lifestyle starts to grow, and to the point where they feel as though, like just like the rest of their teammates, they could be invincible in certain ways in regards to getting away with stuff. It may start with let's say for example, like they run a red light and then they'll probably get away with a warning when they would usually get a ticket. You see something like that sometimes, and they change your mindset and say, maybe I can get away with some stuff, or maybe I have the money to just go out and spend it the way I want to, and hit clubs and spend money on bottles and stuff like that. And that's how that lifestyle grows. After a while, you just be like, yo, we rolling out all the time. I'm bringing my entourage with me. We're gonna hang out and chill. And don't worry, I got the money, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And then that's where that mindset comes into play, where they feel as though that they could do anything that they want.
Yeah, but I agree. Just like Ace said, where does that line start? Like, where do you teach them? Because I think once you get to college, I think it might almost even be too late at that particular point. I mean, Ace, you could probably speak well into it. I mean, you have West Virginia in Morgantown, pretty much as for better for worse, a college town, and the football was king. So I'm pretty sure that there was a lot of stuff that kind of got brushed under the rug or looked the other way, depending on how far these cats took it and how far they can go before someone says, I can't look away. They was probably getting away with a ton of stuff and just getting favors and benefits, skimming the line between NCAA rules and regulations, having parties, skimming the line between university policies, getting a hand slap or saying, hey, just don't do it again. But it's, the lines get blurred even then.
I agree, man.
And God forbid you're a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, look at Jameis Winston. I mean, it got to the point where Florida had to be like, we can't look the other way anymore, dude. You just not giving us anything to work with.
Right.
That's why they was like, yo, you gotta go. Just go. Go to the NFL draft. Just go to the NFL. Just do what you gotta do. Just be out. So now he can act a fool down in Tampa Bay.
But see, have you even heard a peep out of him? Like, nah.
Give it time.
You're not about to say not yet.
Give it time.
Not yet.
And I think that's when, hopefully that'll be when his wake-up call is. Like you said, he might have gotten away with a lot of stuff in college, and they probably let him get away with a lot more stuff. But it'll be interesting to see what he does in the NFL.
Well, I don't know, man. I can only imagine if we had this sort of technology when we was in college, how things would have been. Now you kind of see how things unfold 20 years later. Like, ridiculousness, man. Just pure ridiculousness.
And all we had was cameras.
Exactly.
The occasional beeper.
Exactly. But I'm going to end it here. This is just like part one because it's already like we way past what I imagined to be the time frame. But I like to thank Adrian Catwell and Earl Ross for taking the time to talk about sports. Man, I really do appreciate you guys hanging out.
Oh, no doubt. It's our pleasure, man. Our pleasure.
All right, I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna go start with Ace. Just tell them where they can hit you up at, man.
And you can find me on Twitter. My handle's at CatDaddy1963. Feel free to hit me up. Need some feedback. Tell me what's good. Tell me I'm a West Virginia homer. I don't care. I'll say it myself. It's gravy. Gonna be at the homecoming game, Oklahoma State. Go Mountaineers. Let's go. Also, real quick, shameless plug. EA Sports NBA Live 16. We brought the heat. Looking forward to it dropping on September 15th. Getting that little free trial in. Keep the news coming. 2K. You might have seen your match.
Okay, Earl. I'm just gonna let you tell them where they can find you at.
You can find me in the club with a bottle of bub. Nah, you can hit me up on Twitter, JEROSS7. Same thing on Instagram, and floating around on Facebook. So holla at your boy whenever.
All right, and of course you can find me at I Am Al Qualls. Also, like to do me a huge favor. I'm on my Al Qualls. I Am Al Qualls on Twitter, I should say, and also on Instagram. I'm eliminating Facebook. I'm at this point really trying to eliminate that. So just hit me up on Twitter. Also hit me up on YouTube as well. Hey, for those that commented on the videos, I really do appreciate you taking the time to comment. Also, if you can, do me a favor, subscribe to the watermark that's on the lower right-hand side. It's labeled GTS. I really do appreciate if you guys would do that for me. Also, I heard y'all comments. I heard what y'all was talking about as far as what type of things we need to talk about and cover in sports, and I will respond to that. I will respond to also the questions that y'all have for me. I'm going to throw it to the panel the next time we get on, and we'll just talk and take it from there. But for now, you can catch guys talking sports every week. Until next time, this is Al Qualls. Till next week, I should say, and I'll catch y'all later.